happen to be new here, my name is Jess. What is up? I need to get a microphone because I realized when I film that I'm basically yelling at my camera. I did hang up some things to kind of dampen sound. Hopefully that helps. Also, I have a Christmas tree right here, which you can't see. But yeah, I'm in the full Christmas spirit right now. So hopefully that's all kind of dampening the sound a little bit in this room. But I need to get a mic because I need you guys to be able to hear me without yelling, because as you know, I have a breathing condition. It's not like a condition, but I can't, see, sometimes I can't take deep breaths, sometimes I'm speaking and I just like need to gasp for air. So yelling all the time when I film is kind of negatively impacting my life at this point. So I do have a Canon Rebel T5, so if you guys know of any good microphones that work for that, please let me know. I know I do have a lot of good techie friends on here, so if you're a booktuber, if you do things like this, if you just film yourself sometimes, let me know what's a good mic that I can use because I'm really in the market for one. But with all that aside, today is going to be our review of The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. It is going to be my Hypernaut wrap up for the month. I just did finish this a couple of nights ago, and guys, I have so many thoughts and so many feelings, so many mixed feelings about this book as well. The first part of this is going to be non-spoilery, so if you are here just to see whether or not I found this book hype or not, go ahead and stick around. I'll let you know when that switches, but let's get started because I have a lot of feelings on this book. So first and foremost, let me say that this is the first Maggie Stiefvater book that I have read. I have followed Maggie on Twitter for a while and kind of seen the things that she has posted. And at first I did not like her. I thought she was kind of rude. And then someone explained to me that's just her humor, which is the same humor as mine, but obviously doesn't always translate. So going into this book, I was a little confused about who Maggie was as a person. And to me, that is kind of important when it comes to whether or not I'm going to like a book. I know that's strange to say, but I don't really want to support people whether or not if I don't like them. So going into this, I had kind of a biased opinion of Maggie. Obviously that has changed since then. I know a little bit more about her and do appreciate the things that she does. So going into this book, I just have to say I had such a hard time. I had such a hard time that I almost actually DNF'd this book. I got to about a page 175 and was like, why am I still reading this? Had it not been for Hypernaut, you guys, I have to say I probably would have DNF'd it, which coming from the internet seems to be the general consensus. I know a lot of people who absolutely love this series who say that the first book they put down for a really long time and then someone was able to get through it and then word of mouth just kind of traveled, that it is worth continuing to read. So I did continue to read, like I said, because I am in the group. I am the curator of this group, so I did need to finish the book just to let you guys know whether or not it was hype. But I have to say the first 150 pages of this book I was not a fan of. Like I said, I would have DNF'd it. I got to about a page 250. That's how long into this book it took me to really enjoy it. Once 250, right around that area hit, I was hooked. I could not get enough of it. So if you were to ask me in the beginning of the month whether or not I thought this book was hype, I would say no. If you're asking me now, I'm definitely going to say yes. I think this book is worth the hype. It follows our main character, Blue, and she meets Gansey, Ronan, and Noah, and Adam, who are the Raven Boys. They go to a school near where she lives. They are kind of in like the upper class that she is able to tell they're from the upper class because obviously the boys that go to her school are more on the rich side. And what they're trying to do, there is a king that Gansey is trying to track down, and the king kind of grants you a lot of power. And in the town that they live in, Blue's family are psychics. Blue is able to amplify people's powers, and what they are trying to do is track down ley lines and things like that. And their lives get kind of tangled together because the boys go to see Blue's mom for a reading on whether or not they're able to accomplish this, just trying to get more information from her. And that's how they all sort of meet and how things all sort of start to happen. Now, without giving too much away, I really liked the way the story went. I really, really enjoyed it. There were a lot of twists and turns towards the end of the book that I was not expecting. One of them really notably stands out, and I will speak about that later on in the review of the book when I get to the spoilery bits. But like I said, if you were here to know whether or not I think this book is hype, I would definitely say yes. If you are having trouble getting through the first half of this book, I would say continue to read. I know it's a lot of information. Maggie does kind of like info dump on the first like 200 pages of this book. It's a lot of like, not so much backstory on people, but just a lot of like really random things. I have to say at the beginning of this book, I was sort of confused on who was who and what was happening and what was going on, but it does all clear up. I feel like Maggie's writing becomes more clear and concise in the end of the book, towards the end of it. I feel like the longer she was writing this, the more, you know, she was able to really vocalize what she was trying to say and get points across and things like that. So I definitely think that the book got better, and I definitely think that it is worth the hype. Now moving into the spoiler bit of this, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to hop on out of here if you have not read the book, because I just have some things that I really, really need to address. So the first big spoiler that I have here, the first thing that really hooked me when reading this book, is the fact that Noah is actually dead. Can we take a minute for that? Did anybody else see that? Because I was talking to my friends Sam and Sid, the girls who assist me in the group, and as I say all the time, their Instagrams are linked below if you guys would like to follow them. You can chat with them about the books as we read them as well. But I just was not expecting that at all, and I thought that it was beautiful that she wrote that in. It ties so well into the story about his bones, you know, about him being killed on the ley line and him being able to still communicate with them. Obviously, it is boosted a little bit by the fact that Blue is around and she is able to communicate, you know, boost their power a little bit in seeing him. But I really liked that. I also really liked Welk as the bad, you know, as the bad guy, as the main bad character. I really liked his character. I thought that him and Neve's kind of interactions towards the end of the book were really funny. I do not like Neve. I think Neve is a shady bitch, and I don't even know where she is or what's happening. As you guys have read the book, you will know that she kind of just disappears in the end. But I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. I think that it is worth the hype. I think Blue and her mom's relationship is also really interesting in this book. It reminds me a lot of me growing up because, as you guys know, I was adopted by my aunt and uncle when I was 11. So for me, I was already like, you know, at the time, like already a fully cooked human. I mean, I know you like learn obviously a lot of things between 11 and where I am now, but I kind of had my own ideals, my own kind of thoughts, and my parents were kind of powerless to make me stop or continue to do anything. So I really liked that because it reminded me a lot of my relationship with my parents. But I really enjoyed this book. I really liked the twists and turns. And I realized I just forgot to mention in the first part of this video that Blue essentially can kill whoever she kisses. So if she kisses someone and he is her true love, they will die. And that's kind of what this book centers around. That's sort of what this book is, you know, marketed as, but it doesn't happen in this book. So it is really confusing. We get a little bit of a vision of something like that happening, but we don't actually see it happen. So I was a little bit confused about why that is like the tag for this book, because I mean, it's talked about, but it's not the biggest part of the book. So that was a little confusing to me. I was waiting for that to happen, and it never really happened. But I still like the conclusion of this book as well. I want to know if Glendower is inhabiting Adam's body. I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably break my ban just to buy the second one, or see if maybe somebody can buy it for me for Christmas. I might ask my mom to buy it for me for Christmas. But yeah, I still really enjoyed this book. Like I said, it was a little bit confusing towards the beginning of it, but I still really enjoyed it. I'm really thankful that I read this with other people as well, like having a group like this to read a book like this, like so info driven. Like I said, I had a lot of information because my friend Sid and my friend Sam both noticed things that I didn't notice. It was kind of like all around, like we all kind of noticed different things. So I think this is definitely a book that if you were wondering whether or not you should read it and you're worried about the first part of it being pretty confusing, I would try to read it with a friend. I feel like it's really good to, you know, have somebody there to kind of like walk you through everything and, you know, maybe notice things that you didn't notice. But as a whole, if you guys are wondering whether or not I think The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater is hype or not, I would definitely say yes. So I'm really glad that I read this, and I'm really excited to pick up the second one. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. I really enjoyed this book, like I said, and I can't wait to pick up the second one, in whatever medium that may be. I hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!